What's a hack in your industry that customers aren't supposed to find out? Number 1. Former local journalist here. If you want to know something about your town, or pretty much anything locally, or find something hinky that you want investigated, just call or email them and ask, "What's happening with that? Insert weird item in city budget, shut down road cop who got fired." When I was off deadline, I actually loved fielding these questions. They were mainly from old people, and pretty much worked as customer service for the city a lot. I directed people to local programs that would help them. I confirmed the start and proposed end dates of construction. And I told people what companies had pulled permits to build that new restaurant on Main Street. Local journalists have a wealth of knowledge in all departments of what is going on in your city, because they drift between one or the other frequently, and we ask the other reporters in the cubicle next to us too. They're your tour guides, social workers, watchdogs and public defenders if you just ask them. They aren't doing it for the money, cries in past due bills. They're doing it for the love of their community. They all really embrace the localism aesthetic. I guess this is sort of a not supposed to find out thing because if everyone did it, they'd never get their other work done. Number 2. This was 6 or 7 years ago, so may not be relevant, but when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the higher-ups were so tunnel-visioned on positive customer reviews that if there was any problem at all, we would write off anything from gas to whole days of rentals. We had a few repeat customers that would catch on and habitually complain about dumb shit to get parts of the bill discounted. Only a rating of completely satisfied counted, and it was tied to bonus and promotion, so a huge incentive to make people happy. Number 3. Accounting is called a sticky business because we don't lose clients often, unless we are terrible. We continually raise rates and overcharge because we know clients will just stay with the same person they know, rather than search around. It may be hard to evaluate who is a bad versus good versus great accountant, but that won't matter unless you have a difficult situation or specialized work to be done. What matters is you might find an accountant willing to do the same work for a lot cheaper, if you can just put in a little extra time to ask them to ballpark their rates. Think of it this way. People regularly go to different grocery stores, convenience stores, and gas station marts to save a few dollars on things like eggs, candy, or milk. I found eggs for $1.50 when they're normally $2.50 is some big accomplishment. What if you found an accountant willing to do your work for $3,000 instead of $5,000? Isn't that worth a few more calls and meetings that you would gladly use time on to find cheaper eggs? Number 4. When I worked in a hotel as a night porter, the room cost was totally reliant if you were a dick or not. I obviously couldn't just give rooms away, but I could pretty much knock off 50%. One day, a very tired woman came in with her baby, and I couldn't get the payment to go through at all. So I did give it to her for nothing, just had to make sure she was out before 9 a.m, and I cleaned it myself. Thank you for all the upvotes, awards, and kind words. Number 5. Dog trainer. This is a hack we want people to understand. One reason we can get your dog to do something so fast is because we use a high rate of reinforcement. Example. I'm training your dog to walk on leash without pulling, and we practice in your driveway. I feed the dog 20 tiny pieces of food by my knee as we walk to the end of the driveway. The first time a client tries the exercise, they may use 5. The mechanics of the exercise look easy, but it takes time to get used to. And when people are practicing on their own, they do other things, instead of focus on the exercise. They forget how often they need to reinforce the dog for doing the right thing. If they do the exercise for 2 minutes during each walk, with a high rate of reinforcement, ROR, that may be all it takes. And once the dog starts to learn, you can gradually slow down the ROR. If you've made it that far, like and subscribe.